metals, leathers, woods, and enchantments. I know I've touched on the subject before, okay, but you know, not everybody could be there that day. And so I decided to throw this out again, especially, and it's good that I see that Jilla Rose is here, since she is one of the two people in charge of the professions. That's important. I know that Jill Air is probably not here today. She had mentioned, she had talked to me about some real life stuff going on. So, that's not me.
Hello.
Ow. Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah. Whoever that is.
Oh, so, kind of. Like, it's that wet stuff in between the snow and rain.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, you might want to turn off your mic, whoever that is, because yeah. Okay. Because yeah, that killed me even. And if I was doing that to you guys earlier, I apologize. Okay. So, um, I was worse than that. Sheesh. Sorry about that, guys. I was trying to set up a mic system so that I don't have those problems. I'm just gonna have to get. It's very difficult to find a microphone that goes behind your head. All of them are made for going over your head, and I don't like it like that. You know. So we'll get in Dwarven Steel plate. I'm good with that. We'll definitely discuss that. So we'll start with metals. Okay. Now, first off, most metals, generally speaking, your uh, your metal types are not going to show up on meter combat. Okay, just as a forewarning. Okay, simply because there are just too many contingencies that go into play to make all the different types of metals go into meter combat. However, they are still very important for role play and for uh, paradise combat. With that with that said, then the three top metals, okay, are going to be the three colors: red, black, and white. Red is orichalcum. Okay, it's a red metal, literally. It's it's not copper colored like some of the others you will locate. Let me rephrase that. It's, Rhodium is red. Also, anyway, white is mithril. Okay, black is adamantite. Okay, those three metals are mirror the three colors, red, black, and white. They're going to be the most powerful of the metals. Orichalcum makes great armor, but it does not make good bladed weapons. Okay, because does not hold an edge. Okay. If any of you are familiar with with titanium steel, you'll notice that, that is the same way. It's extremely tough. Okay? Yeah, it works for hammers and maces. But you cannot use it for blades. Okay? That's correct. Yes, that is correct. These metals and leathers and woods, all the stuff I'm talking about, are ones that are gathered through roleplay. Deep roads specific mostly. And you also will get them from loot crates. Okay? And they can be used to make awesome stuff. We're a roleplay realm, right? Okay? So having roleplay is important. So those three are the top tier, okay, and everything else rolls down. There are some. That does not mean that they're not awesome, because they are, but those three are your top ones. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up, Jill and Rose. All right. And also there are alloys. Okay. Everybody knows what an alloy is, right? An alloy is when you combine two metals. Okay. So just, yeah, we will, even though we're talking about the pure metals a lot of times, not always, alloys fall in there too. So when we're looking at the metal types, okay, obviously I just mentioned the three types, three top, but there's also metals like elementium, okay, and rhodium, and lyrium. There's there's a long list. Jill Thorne, are you in here? Yes, you are. I see. Okay. She has a full list of all the metals. Okay? And actually, Sequoia, when we get to woods, you might be more surprised than that one. Although there's not one called Sequoia. But being a tree, you might find that be of more interest. But anyway, so Jalil Thorne has a full list of of all the metals, etc. Okay, so if you run across one and you don't know what you can do with it, you don't know what it is, you can ask her, hey, what's this? And if you have one, actually, if you have one now on you in your inventory list, say, I have this metal. What does this metal do? I got this one from a Deep Roads run, or from a loot crate. You can always ask me, okay, I got this metal. What's special about this one? Okay, so that's the first important piece of information, is what I've just said. Okay, is that there are a variety of metals, ranging from copper, which actually has properties, by the way, all the way up to the three top metals. But there are other important metals that you go through down, like Dwarven Steel. If you mentioned Dwarven Steel earlier, that is an alloy, okay, that is crafted using iron and orichalcum, okay, and it's mostly iron. it is a steel, but it does have orichalcum. It is an alloy that contains orichalcum. Okay. Consequently, it has a copper-ish, copper color. Okay, Dwarven Steel has a copper color, just like living steel. Living steel is a alloy of a variety of different materials, which I'm not going to detail at this point because the recipe is secret. But the end result of that is also this orange metal. Okay. So if you see somebody running around with an orange metal, well, they might possibly be wearing living steel. Although Dwarven Steel has a coloration similar, so it could easily be Dwarven Steel. Yes, that is a hardcore secret. The for living steel. Okay. um, some of the metals are particularly magical, like mithril. Mithril is the white. Okay, and it takes enchantments very, very well. That's why it's commonly used by elves to to make chainmail, etc. Because it takes enchantment very well. Okay, and it's big. You can make bladed weapons out of it quite successfully. It's not as hard as orichalcum. Do I have anybody in this room that has understanding of the Mohs scale? Okay. I wouldn't think so. Sage does, and acacia. Okay, that's right. Exactly. It's the hardness factor. Orichalcum has the highest hardness factor of them all. Okay, but that also means that it does bend very well. Okay, and mithril is not near as hard, but it bends much, much better. Adamantite is in the middle of those. Okay? Adamantite is harder than mithril, but not near as hard as orichalcum. Okay? Mithril takes enchantment better than of the three. Okay? And orichalcum takes it the worst. Adamantite is in the middle. Okay? Now, when we're talking about all the other types of metals, they are all awesome. Okay? Let's look at elementium for a second. Okay? Elementium is a soft metal. It's soft, like silver and gold. Not quite as soft as gold, but it's a soft metal. So it's more for jewelry, right? But it takes enchantment really, really well. Okay? So, it's designed for earrings and necklaces and stuff. And the way that metal is, it has a particular penchant for the four elements. So it's not really a ring that you could put bless on all that well. Okay, but you could put protection from fire on that ring quite successfully. Okay, it's designed. That's what it's designed for. Is for elemental type of spells. Okay, lyrium. Yes, it's a magic conductor. Correct. That's elementium that I just discussed. Lyrium is an excellent magic conductor. Also, it in fact it augments. Okay, it augments spells that are put into it, but it has a side effect. Lyrium has a side effect. Okay, it reduces your armor class. Okay, it will make whatever spell you put into it a little bit more powerful than the level you're casting it at, but at the cost of armor class. Okay. And does that make sense? Did that come across right? Okay. There are a few metals like that. Okay. They'll give you extra benefit. Yes, even if you use it for jewelry, because it is a magical metal that affects your whole body. Okay, it runs just like in real life when people talk about wearing copper. Okay, to regulate your bloodstream. That's kind of like some of these metals do. Okay, not only do they give you a benefit, but they have a some of them have a deficit too. Lyrium is one of them. There's another one. I'll have to remember exactly which one it was in a minute here. Yeah, is that it augments your magic, okay? But it costs stamina. Good, excellent question, Core. No, it does not. It does not inhibit your reflexes. It makes you more vulnerable. Okay, makes you more vulnerable. Like best way to put it. I don't want to say it makes your skin softer, because that's not exactly the case, but it makes you slightly more, a little bit more fragile. Okay? Yes, exactly. Like, people who, if they get cut, it's easier to penetrate their skin than other people. Okay? Like, a lot of people, they have calluses on their hands, right? And so you pick up a hot plate, it doesn't really burn. Okay? Yes, exactly. Like blood thinners and aspirin. Exactly. That's very, very well put. Yes. Very, very well put. No, it does not. The meter does not incorporate these metal qualities automatically. That's what I'm talking to you guys about. Okay? Is that if you choose to use one of these special metals, you'll have to, yes, these are role play editions. They're not really going to affect your meter. Okay? These are for role play. Yeah. Don't worry about your meter. Okay? These don't affect your meter. All these things I'm talking about, they're for paradise role playing and for straight up role playing. Okay? The metals, leathers, etc., are not going to affect your meter. Okay? Not until we get to enchantments. Okay? Those affect your meter. This is the key, what I'm trying, that's why it's the last thing I'm talking about. Okay? Alright? That's why the last thing I'm going to talk about is enchantments. Okay. Alright. So there are a variety of metals that do different things. You know, there's a little thorn. I know I've called you out once before. Are your ears on? Yes. Okay. Can you throw out, I know you have a list of metals in front of you, just throw out 3 of them at me right now, if you would be so very kind. Because I want to give, there's a lot more metals than the ones I just mentioned. And I want to give a sample of what I'm talking about. Yeah. 3 metals on your list. An orichalcum plated golem would be similar to a metallica. Metallica are crafted of living steel. Except, living steel can heal itself and orichalcum can't. So an orichalcum plated golem would be pretty rough. Okay, vibranium. Thank you. There's one to throw out there. Okay, vibranium is a dark gray metal. Okay, it has it's high on the Mohs scale, but it is, it's much more flexible than some of the others. So vibranium is good for like metal cords. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to pull this up because now I see some metals being thrown out there. Okay. Where's my new map? There it is. Okay. All right. Elementium. We just discussed elementium a little bit. Adamantite, that's the black metal. It is in between mithril and orichalcum. It has, it's excellent for bladed weapons. It doesn't take enchantments as well as mithril, but it takes them much better than orichalcum. It's right in between those two. Vibranium we just discussed. Okay. Yes, and and can be alloys as well. Okay. Gold and silver. Okay. All right. Gold as both of those are very soft metals, as everyone knows. So you don't want to make armor out of them. But they do make good jewelry, and if you alloy them, you can make weapons. Both of them take magic well. Gold takes magic better than silver, but you can use silver in weapons. It is very effective versus shapeshifters, okay, and actually causes extra damage to shapeshifters, including werewolves and all lichen forms. Anything that can shapeshift. True silver, on that same note, is a metal that is pure silver. Okay, and it causes even more damage to shapeshifters and even more damage to the lichen types. Okay, true silver has another name that is not called thorium. Okay, the actual name for true silver is thorium, but most people know of it as true silver. But its actual name is thorium, and thorium is very deadly to shapeshifters. Okay, thank you for the question about incorporeal undead. Silver actually is and true silver, one of the only metals that will hit incorporeal entities. Okay? Mithril will also, as will adamantite. Okay. Jaluk Stormcloud, your question. Yes, thorium is true silver. That's correct. It is not a... Yes, it's right. Thorium is an alloy, okay, but it is what makes it is true silver. True silver is an alloy. That's correct. Some of the metals we will discuss are alloys. Does that make sense? There's too many. Who has this knowledge? I Sealy. Well, Nif is a geologist, so he is definitely going to have that knowledge. I Sealy. And master, anyone who's master smith or above will have that knowledge also. Yes, our periodic table is not exactly the same as a real one, okay? Because this is a fantasy world. Just like, yeah, Neff said it too. Yes. Jalil Rose, don't be sorry, dude. Anytime you have a question, you should ask it. Ask it, okay? Because there's going to be somebody else that's afraid to ask the question. They're like, well, I thought this, but I didn't ask anybody. Well, dude, ask your questions, because there's going to be somebody else wondering, okay? And yes, Jeweler Rose, as a master jeweler, you have that knowledge too, okay? Yes. Okay. Jalil Thorn. Throw out 3 more, and it can include alloys, just in case you missed that. Lyrium here, okay, augments magic, okay, but it weakens your body, okay, like it was mentioned, a blood thinner, okay, it weakens your body, but it augments magic. Carbinium, okay, yes, carbinium. I'm going to throw that one out there. It is a dark gray metal, almost black, not quite black, but almost. It is it's effective in weapons and armor because uh, it is a high Mohs scale, but it also has a decent. Uh, it also bends well, okay, and it is particularly effective versus dark magic. Okay. So if you plan on going against a dark mage, carbinium is a pretty good choice. Copper. Copper is a very good conductor, and that is also conductor of magic. So it is copper to magic is like electricity to water. Okay? So it expands whatever you're doing. Okay? Electrum. Electrum is a combination between silver and copper. Sometimes it has a little bit of gold in it. Okay? And as it sounds, it's going to be fairly effective for magical jewelry. Alright, let's see. Answer to your question, Jill Thorn, is going to be blacksmiths and jewel crafters and artificers. But in this class, you can throw at any of those, and whatever anybody learns in this class is effective. I'm okay with it. What qualifies as dark magic? Yes, anything that involves dark energy. Dark priests, particularly necromancers, spells that deal with the dead, spells that deal with energy that comes from the negative material plane. Primarily, that is what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about carbinium, I'm talking about it's effective against spells that draw from the negative material plane. And yes, that does include the abyss. Thank you for bringing that up. And the 9 hells. So it's good versus 3 particular magic types. You know, that are collectively known as dark energy. Okay. Abyssal, infernal, and magic that comes from the negative material plane. Yes. Like Zach just said, if you run around with a lot of mages, you know, wearing copper uh, might draw it to you. Of course, if you want that, then that's a good thing, like Cantina. Rakshasa are fallen angels. Okay, so yes, that would that would put their energy in the infernal type. No, copper's not heavy. Copper's not all that heavy. So, you know, a copper staff would be awesome, especially if you combine it with amber. A copper and amber staff would be the penultimate staff if you were working with fire, lightning, things of such nature. Here, Rakshasa are fallen angels. That's correct. An evoker, a, a copper and amber staff would be evoker heaven. Yes, totally. That's that's something that they would want. Okay, that is correct. Copper is extremely malleable. All of the anytime that I mention a metal that I say this is a soft metal, I'm talking about a malleable metal, and it is if you want to use it in a weapon, you will have to alloy it with something else. But in its pure form, 24 karat, as one might call it, I guess, is that what it is? Um, is makes excellent jewelry. It also makes really good frogs. Yes, copper conducts. So I mean, it doesn't augment your spell, but it makes it flow better, like lightning through water. Okay, your your chances of failure decrease if you're using copper. Yes, I have pennies using those. I like them. They're fun. I have I had one with a bat symbol on it, but now that was many moons ago. I'm gonna have to get a new one. There's nobody around here who does that anymore. At least not with a bat symbol on it. That's the one I want. Okay. Um, you can throw out three more metals, and then we're gonna move to leather. Okay. Dwarven Steel. Okay. Dwarven Steel is, as I said, an alloy of iron and orichalcum. It's got a little bit of orichalcum. That's what gives it its orange color. And consequently, that does diminish its ability to accept enchantments, but that increases its strength so that it is like tongue. Uh, it would best be qualified as like graphite steel. Okay, Ethereum is the opposite of carbonium. Okay, so it's effective versus the positive material plane and the heavens. Okay, Valhalla, uh, all the different heavens. Okay? So if you're going to go fight angels, which I don't like using that word, so celestials, Averials, yes. Ethereum is the weapons for you. Of course, you know, sometimes you will note that the uh, they will wear armor from those places because it's particularly effective for them too. Carbinium, you might find a demon that's dressed in carbinium because it augments his powers. Yes, it's effective versus them, but it also augments their own powers. That's why it's effective against them, because it is a metal that is geared towards that plane of existence. So you may find celestials in Ethereum chainmail. Okay. Now, a varial, the is elf type. My apologies. I was referring to Zephyr. It's effective versus Zephyr, not a varials. It's not effective versus a varials at all because they're elves. I meant Zephyr. Just because they have wings does not make them angels. Yeah, they are elves. Thank you for catching that. I cat. I looked at the word. Yeah, I thought he said Zephyr. Totally clear. Totally my fault. Zephyr, not a variance. Uranus is a devil. So carbinium is going to be effective versus them, and they also might be wearing carbinium armor. That's because elves are technically mortal gods, all of them. You know. And yes, a Varial is a bird elf. They even have hollow bones, just so you know. Okay. Uh, did I? Did we throw out three? Did I catch all three? All right. Okay. We're gonna move on to leathers. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So I guess I didn't catch all three. Brass. Okay. Brass, as you all know, it is an alloy as well. Okay. Um, brass, depending on its makeup, but it's closest to electrum. Okay. So it falls in the electrum category. Okay. Okay. Uh, Balados for your attendance. Jaluk Storm Cloud. That's right. You are correct. It's copper and tin. It is closest to the properties of electrum. Okay. So you know, it has. It's a little bit tougher than copper because of the tin. So it can be used for other things, but it's best for jewelry. Okay. Okay. Last metal. We'll do one final metal after brass, and then we'll move to leather. Doom, 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 doom. Yes, one more, please, if you would be so very kind, Gentle Thor. Mithril, as we've just discussed earlier, mithril is the white metal. It is the most malleable of the three, so it's excellent for chainmail armor. All right, of the three prime colors. It also takes magic better than any other metal. I'll go, since we've discussed that one, I'll go ahead and answer this heptazion. Okay, for those of you that don't know, okay, heptazion is a purple copper, okay, and is an alloy, is a copper alloy, and then it is purple, right? It is especially effective in magic. Okay, not only does it have the copper, the qualities of copper as far as like water to electricity, but it also empowers your body. Okay, it's remember how we had the other metal that is like taking blood thinners. If you're using heptazion, it's the reverse. It's like you're taking super vitamins, okay, omega 3s, and probably not quite as effective as PCP because PCP has serious side effects, but you're on the right track. Yes. Okay. It's like, you know, wearing something that hypes up your body system. Okay? Does that make sense? And I hope enough information was put out about mithril earlier that still answered your question. The mithril question. Okay. There are many other metals that if you run across, I can answer, and go to your blacksmiths, your jewel crafters, and your artificers if you have a metal that has not been mentioned. Although I'm going to mention one more myself. Okay, rhodium. Okay, rhodium is an alloy of orichalcum and adamantite. So it is a deep red color. It is a blood red in color, and it is between those two metals. So it is effective for blades, but it is very, very strong, like orichalcum. So it is one of the best sword metals that you can acquire. Okay, let's. You can spell it that way. I usually drop the H, but you can, but you would not be wrong if you use the H. Okay. All right. Leathers. So there's a lot of leatherwares in the GA. Okay. Beldos for your attendance, Jill Bellman. You are a griffin today, I have noticed. Quite interesting. Okay, I'm impressed. Excellent, excellent avatar. Very excellent. So we'll have to talk about if this is a permanent change later, because that is very, very elven. For those of you that do not know, the griffin is the high elven beastie. Okay, as griffin to high elves is like the owl bear to dark elves. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay, leathers. So when you're in the deep roads, and sometimes in loot crates, you're going to run across strange leathers. Okay, and these can be used to make primarily armor. Okay, but not there are creative uses you can find for other ones too. But you run across things like basilisk leather. Okay, obviously the skin of a basilisk, and that will, in addition to being decent scale mail armor level, because a basilisk is a lizard. It will also help you in protection versus turn to stone. Okay? It will give you some level of protection versus being petrified. Cockatrice is the same way, but cockatrice is a much lighter leather, and there's a significant difference between the two. Cockatrice leather would be like wearing cloth, pretty much. Okay, but it would have the same effect. Would have some. Well, basilisk could be large enough for one beastie to make a suit of armor, and cockatrice. There are cockatrice big enough for that as well. Sometimes you will run across, in both those cases, beasties that are man-sized, and that would not be uncommon to do, really, because they're both medium-sized creatures, technically, oftentimes. Yeah, sometimes you'll run across small ones, but generally speaking, they are man-sized beasties. Okay? And if you live through the encounter, which is already not an easy task, because they can turn you to stone. But if you live through it, they do make good armor. Cockatrice would be like wearing cloth, and a basilisk would be like wearing leather. But both of them have the added bonus of some protection versus petrification. Yes. Um, on that same note, you may run across in your loot crates or etc. You may run across a gorgon hide. Now, the gorgon hide is not a Medusa, okay? Just so you know, for those of you that are familiar with mythology and know that the racial name for Medusa is Gorgon. If you run across a Gorgon hide, that is not what it is. Okay? The Gorgon in that particular instance that you are locating is a cow. All right, it is a bull that is covered with scales. Okay, Valadas for your appearance, Angus. Vindas for now. So the Gorgon is a armored cow, scaled bull. Okay. Obviously, they make excellent scale mail armor. Should you run across that? Which brings up another point. Many Underdark creatures are scaled. Okay? Like the scaled wolf. Okay? A scaled wolf looks just like any other wolf, but instead of fur, they have scales. Okay? Now, you might not sure if it would anger any of the wolfen types to see you wearing a scaled wolf set of armor. It might. I don't know. I want to talk to him about it. I certainly know that scaled wolves wouldn't like it. And scaled wolves are pretty darn cool. They look just like a wolf. But they are covered in scales instead of fur. Okay? There are also cats, large tiger-sized panthers that are covered in scales in the Underdark, as one might, is commonly referred to. I call it the Old Kingdom. Okay? Obviously, of all the leathers, dragon scale is going to be the most powerful. But, of course, there's probably a lot of dragons to be mad at you for that. Some of them won't care. Some of them will. Okay? But when it comes to when it comes to dragon scales, they give you some protection versus the color that they are. Okay? So black is acid, blue is electricity, red is fire, white is ice. Yes, Undine is a black dragon. Okay. Green is poison gas. Silver is also ice. Okay. Gold is also fire. is also poison gas. Copper is also acid. So, yes, if you have enough scales, you can make armor out of it. But there are other things you can make out of dragon scales. Okay? Yes, gold dragons are good guys, quote unquote. Lawful good. So to kill one, you're probably going to make some people mad. It's like killing a unicorn. Okay? You don't kill unicorns. They have yes, their horns are very magical and their hides are very magical. But if you kill one, you're going to make a lot of people. You're going to make some people mad, you know, including the magician. I'm talking to you as the DM, so you know I can do that. But the magician would be a different story. That's right. Okay. And but yes, there are ways you can get dragon scales without killing them too. Just so you know. Okay? Because dragons shed. Okay, like snakes. Okay? So you can actually get uh, a dragon skin. Okay? Without killing a dragon. You do not have to kill a dragon to get a dragon skin. Because they shed like snakes. Okay? So if you that brings up a good point. If you get a dragon skin in a loot crate, it did not come from a dead dragon. It was a shed skin. Okay? Yes, Fae are going to be mad at you if you kill Fae. This is an absolute truth. You are right. And on Dean's scales, she's a black dragon. So that would be effective versus acid. Okay? And as we all know, acid hurts. So it's recommended not to put your hand in it. Okay. All right. There are a variety, many animals that their skins are have magical qualities. Too numerous to mention. So rather than me try to mention them all, throw three of them out there, and I will answer your question. By the way, just because of the fake conversation here, Owlbear has, they have awesome leather armor. They have awesome leather, but if a dark elf sees you wearing owlbear, they will probably kill you. And you might not even know it. They'll probably sneak up behind you, slit your throat, and then walk away like nothing happened. Okay? So don't wear. I mean, you can do it, but you you're instigating an issue by doing it, right? That's right. So anyway, so throw out three potential leathers. and I will tell you. Porcupine. Interesting choice. Um, now, actually, if you have it done right, uh, it is possible to maintain the quills on a porcupine cloak, for example. All right, and it is not impossible, if you did it right, to have a cloak made out of porcupine hide that I could actually launch the quills. I have known that to happen in the past. But the armor quality is not going to be very high. You're looking at cloth level, but the potential offensive abilities are high. Okay. And you're talking about the Fey. Anytime you kill an outsider, always remember they're coming back. That's demons, devils, celestials, Fey types. Chances that you're not permanently killing them because they don't live here. They're from another plane of existence. If you kill an outsider, they will eventually come back. Okay? And yes, that is true, Jill Molly. And that is very true, Jill Core. When they come back, they're going to be mad. Okay, thank you for bringing that question up, Tatiana. Um, Animals that are killed here, okay, that are outsiders, okay, 99% of the time you're not going to be able to get their leather if you killed them here. It is possible because there are spells that can lock you in, okay, and in which case they can be skinned. But most beasties that are from another plane of existence, you have to go there in order to get their hides. Yes, there are dimensional anchor spells, and they are higher level. Okay, admittedly, so you don't have to worry about that unless it's a higher level entity like the magician. But you know, uh, there are dimensional anchor spells that are you might a mage guild lead or a priest guild lead might have. Okay, standard players are probably not going to have them, but a guild lead might. Okay, a magister probably would. Okay, there you go. But that was a very good question. Is it written down? Probably not. Excuse me. It might be written down, but I don't remember if I wrote it down anywhere. That's one of the reasons I have these classes, because not everything that I have said is written down. Is human leather ever used? Not by good guys, but has it been used? Demons, devils? Yes, it has been. books. There are books bound in human skin, usually written by demons. Do I recommend it? No. It'd probably make a few people angry. But has it ever been used? Yes. And it wouldn't surprise me. The Evil Dead, that's written in human skin and inked in human blood. That is correct. And that comes from a double right there. That is correct. The movie Evil Dead, that is bound in human flesh and inked in human blood. Okay. Any other skins that you want to throw out there? Then we're going to move to wood. Chimera. Excellent, excellent one. Because there's one right to my left. Because that is the symbol of the GA. Okay? All right. The Chimera has the magical qualities of it. First off, it is leather level. It is high, it is a high level, and so if you wear Chimera skin, it is leather level, as though you're wearing studded or scaled, even though it's malleable leather. And it has the innate protections. It does have some protection from fire, poison, acid, and has the boost like you have been eating vitamins. Okay. Okay, I'll throw that one more. Yes, it is a very good one. Lizards and lizard men. There are a variety of many types of lizards and lizardmen subsequently, and they are all equal to scaled leather. They're not they're not innately magic, but they are all equal to wearing wearing scaled leather armor. Okay. Any giant snake is going to be the same way. Giant snakes, giant lizards, dinosaurs, they're all going to be equal to wearing scaled metal leather. Yes. When I get to wood, I'm going to talk about fabrics. Okay. That's what I was going to do. Am I taking up a lot of time? Let me look at the clock here. 12:30. Okay, we've been doing this for an hour and a half. All right, maybe I won't get to everything. So real fast, I'm just going to do a down and dirty about wood, and that includes all fabrics. Okay, there are a variety, many types of. Yeah, I'll have to do this part 2. I'll have to do this next month. I'll come back and do the next and do it some more. Okay, because there's a lot more. But I'll just do a real quick down and dirty about the woods and cottons and all this. yes, there's a broad range of those as well. In the deep roads, you'll notice blue trees and white trees and green trees. I'm talking about the bark, not, not the leaves. Black trees, okay, and those are uh, not your standard trees. They are magical, and they have magical qualities to them. Okay, um, there. Example: there's a white tree that if you use the wood from that white tree, it's just like you will using steel, but it's much lighter. Okay, it's as light as as any any wood at all, but it's as hard as steel. Okay, we'll talk and that we'll talk a lot more about, and there's also some trees that are fireproof. Okay, and we'll talk more about that uh, uh, at my next row. We'll get we'll start with wood, and then we'll get to the enchantments. Okay, that will all we'll also discuss spider silk at that time because that's also in the cloths. We'll talk about uh, cottons. We'll talk about a lot of. We'll talk about all the plant. There we go. We'll talk about all the plant byproducts. Okay. There are a wide variety of those. Okay. So I'm about to close this. Last questions, everyone. Any any final questions? Just so you know, druids in the room here. There are a group of black trees with red leaves in the deep roads that are fireproof. You can set that forest on fire, you're not gonna do it. You'd be like, what? What's happening here? No, you're not burning it. No, not happening. Okay. You do not have to be a metallurgist to be a jewel crafter. It helps, but you do not have to. Okay. Yes, I mentioned ironwood a few minutes ago. Okay, because that's where ironwood comes from. And we will talk a lot about. We'll talk a lot about the wood byproducts next time. After these messages, we'll be right back to the show. Okay. Last question? Okay. Nope. All good? All right. Bell dos for your attendance. And dos for now.